Today in media conference with Lal Goyal, which is brought to you by V4 News, Global TV, Malnadu TV, News Gaon Se, Samvad Sarokar News, Organ Donation India Foundation and Gyan. Our endeavor is to bring to you the current topics. And today the current topic is physical education and sports in New Education Policy 2020. Physical education, also known as PE and in some countries as physical training or PT, is a class that pupils are required to take at a school. It is taken during primary and secondary education. In addition, physical literacy is a 21st century term that first emerged in the sport literature before also being applied to physical education. The concept of physical literacy covers a variety of conditions for a student, whether it's motivation, confidence, physical competence, knowledge and understanding for a student. Teachers implement these different concepts into their lesson plans to teach and develop students accordingly and appropriately for their individual success and education. Whether the class produces positive effects on students' health, behavior, and academic performance depends upon the kind of program that is taught. Physical education programs vary all over the world. However, there are worldwide organizations that allow for a better understanding on how much exercise a child should be getting daily. Popular games in PE includes football, netball, hockey, rounders, athletics, and cricket. Harry Krobach was an American college sports coach and physical education instructor. He founded the YMCA College of Physical Education at Madras, now Chennai, in 1920, which played a key role in promoting sports and in establishing the Olympic movement in India. For many students, school organized sports play an important role in their academic and social experiences. Every school has sports embedded in their curriculum as they understand the importance of physical health and activity. However, the importance given to sports ends there, as this inclusion is just for the sake of a formality. Under the Khelo India scheme, the government is supporting the development of sports at the grassroots levels through the initiatives such as Khelo India Schools Games. This program has been introduced to revive the sports culture in India at the grassroots levels by building a strong framework for all sports played in the country and with the aim to establish India as a great sporting country. The importance of adopting sports and education for the success of youth development has been recognized by the Indian government as early as 1984, when the National Sports Policy recommended making sports and physical education an integral part of the school curriculum. A national study from 2014 showed a positive association between participating in school sports and lower rates of tobacco, drugs, and alcohol use. According to PricewaterhouseCoopers PwC survey conducted on 2017, close to 60% of the respondents strongly agree that more emphasis is given to education than to sports in India. The education sector should play a crucial role in promoting sports in India. The new education policy includes several key points that are instrumental for the holistic development of a child. By eliminating the rigid separation between curricular and extracurricular activities, the NEP acknowledges sports to be equally important as any other subject like English or science, thereby increasing the fun and engagement that children desperately seek in a school. Though play, children can develop physically, mentally, and socially, which will contribute positively to academic outcomes, classroom behavior, and attendance levels. Moreover, assessment-specific reforms such as the development of the National Assessment Center and tracking of a child's progress based on learning outcomes are great initiative as they focus on the learning progress, thereby focusing on the all-round development of a child. And to discuss about the physical education and sports in New Education Policy 2020, Wing Commander Ajit Ghosh is the former Ranji Trophy cricketer. He served in the Indian Air Force for 24 years. He commanded 4 Air Force units holding sensitive appointments at top of the line fighter bases close to the Indian border, both in the northeast and in the western desert. He is qualified coach from the BCCI National Cricket Academy and a BCCI match referee for domestic matches. He is former Secretary, Air Force Sports Board. He was closely associated with the conduct of elite sports events like the Military World Games and Commonwealth Games as Chief of Mission of Indian Armed Forces Sports Contingent at Military World Championship overseas. He was the Asian representative on jury of appeal drawn from the 4 continents at Military World Championships. He was the Chief Operating Officer of one of the biggest and best boarding schools of the country, where he also headed an academy of sporting excellence for young children with 35 trained sports coaches, including foreign coaches. His achievements are, he played 5 seasons of Ranji Trophy between 1987-88 and 94-95, one amongst a handful of brothers who hold an international record of having scored hundreds together in the same inning of a first-class match. He captained the Indian Air Force cricket team. He represented the East Zone University team in the Vizzy. He recently wrote in one leading English magazine about new education policy, overlooks opportunities and possibilities that sports present to students. I quote, "The foundation to all this could be laid by the new education policy if only it were to recognize the limitless possibilities and opportunities that sports present as a learning and teaching tool. It is time our educationists woke up to the realization that their views of education as a stern intellectual discipline may need some course correction. Only then would traditional mindset change and the benefits from all educational streams occur in equal measure to our future generations and create a new and vibrant India," unquote. Welcome, Wing Commander Ajit Ghosh on our show. Wing Commander Ghosh, you have heard what Vice Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. P. Subramania said. He is very positive about the National Education Policy 2020 as far as the physical education and sports are concerned. And he has also mentioned that this policy definitely give boost to the physical education and sports. But you have written an article in a reputed English magazine in which you have asked that there should be a course correction in this new policy and it should give more emphasis on the sports and the physical education. Now, we would like to know the physical education and sports in NEP 2020 by Wing Commander Ajit Ghosh, please.
Thank you so much for your kind words. And I fully concur with Dr. Subramania on the importance that is being placed on physical education and sports as subjects in the new education policy 2020. Now, having said that, my point of view is slightly different. I do not look at sports purely from the subject point of view as an academic, as part of the academic curriculum. I would rather look at sports as a personality development tool, which we have at our disposal, and it's something which is easily available, and it is something which everyone would like to utilize. If you were to walk into a classroom and say, ask as to how many children actually love sports or are interested in sports, I'm sure you'll find that 99% of the hands will go up. So if that is the level of interest in sports, why are we not talking about sports, using sports as a personality development tool? Because sports is so much more than just playing. It is most people confuse sports with, an expression of physical prowess. It is not. It is much, much more beyond that, because first and foremost, sports builds your mental capabilities. Because when you play sport, you learn so many life skills, which are easily accessible, easily available to everyone who plays sports. Skills like team spirit. If you're playing a team game, your team always comes first. Your friends come first. So that's the first lesson that you learn on a sports ground, to put yourself, your own self-interest behind others, to subordinate your self-interest to the interest of the team. So that's a wonderful lesson to learn for a young child, because ultimately, when he grows up, when he leads an organization, when he's in a position where he's actually shaping the future of the country, his own self-interest, and this again, from my own background as a military officer, this is something that we are taught at our academies, at the training academies. Where one of the first things that we learn is that the welfare, the safety of the people whom we lead as officers comes first and every time, foremost every time. And our own safety, our own welfare, that is last and each and every time. So that's something which is taught to us in the military academies as part of the training. But the same thing is taught to a young child just by playing a team sport. So my humble submission in that article which I wrote to the nation was, let us look beyond, look at sports beyond just as a subject. Let us not confuse sports with merely physical education. Let us look at it as a personality development tool. Let us look at it as a means that we have at our disposal for holistic education, for holistic development of a child. And mind you, holistic development, holistic education is not new to India. It's not something within NEP 2020 has said. It is something which was started 100 years ago by Rabindranath Tagore when he built Vishwabharati University. He looked at holistic education there. He concentrated on the development of the personality of the individual. And ultimately, what is an education policy? What are we trying to achieve out of educating a person? We are trying to build a balanced individual who can take his own decisions correctly. He can think logically. He can think on his feet when faced with difficult situations, with different changing situations. Someone who can cooperate with others, who can be a part of a team. Somebody who can accept that many times in life things will not go right, that you will fail, and unless you're somebody like Roger Federer, you'll probably lose 9 times out of 10. So all these things ultimately make you mentally strong, because if you're out first ball in a match one day, but you still go back to the ground the next day, because you believe, you have that self-belief in yourself that you can achieve, you can succeed tomorrow, even though you failed today. And so if you fall today, you would get up and go back to the ground tomorrow. And this is something which sports teaches. And ultimately, this is self-belief. And we need people who are confident. We need people who have this kind of self-belief in building the India of tomorrow. So that is where the importance of playing sport comes in. And that is where exposing every child to sports, especially in the formative years at school. As Dr. Subramania mentioned, maybe till the age of 16, let's make sports compulsory. Let it not just remain a subject. Let it not degenerate into physical education where we just do a couple of exercises on a sports field, which most of us hate. Even though I played sports all my life, I don't like doing physical education exercises. Given a chance, I would probably, not do it. So why not we try to do something which we love doing? So if 99% of the children in a classroom raise their hands, when you ask them that do you want to play sports, let us make them play sport. Let us not concentrate only on physical education. Let us not relegate sports to just being a subject in the curriculum. Let it not become a physical education subject which is to be taught and to memorize certain things and rattle it out in an examination paper and get the score marks, because that is what education in our country has currently degenerated into. It is just a mindless pursuit of marks and degrees without any concentration on the development of the individual. So this is where sports is going to play a tremendously important role in shaping the India of tomorrow. And I'm sorry to say that I've listened to a lot of discussions, a lot of very learned people talking about the sports policy, the education policy, but not one of them has yet spoken about this particular aspect of sports. We all talk about sports as a subject. We say that the NEP has given so much of importance to it, it has included it into the curriculum, fine. All that is very, very good. But let us also look at the benefits of sports as a human personality development tool. Let us create well-rounded, confident individuals who can think for themselves, who can handle failure, who can handle stress. After every CBSE examination today, after every competitive examination results today, you read in the newspapers of suicides of the children who failed to clear those examinations. Now, if I were to give you an example from sports, something which happened just yesterday, in this test match which is going on between England and Pakistan, there is a young player, 22-year-old player called Zach Crawley, who made his test debut just a few months, just about a month ago against the West Indies, in the series against West Indies. And in one of his first test matches, when his test place was anything but settled, he got out to the first ball of his innings. He went into bat and the first ball he got out on a duck, on zero. And he was dropped from the next test match. So if he was not mentally strong, if his sports education up to this point had not taught him to be mentally strong, he would have probably given up at that stage. But he did not. And when and in this test match, which he's currently playing against Pakistan, yesterday he scored 269 runs, which was the highest score by an English player in his first test match 100 in the last 116 years. So that's the kind of mental strength, that's the kind of belief, that's the kind of confidence that sports teaches to young people and young adults, young children and young adults. So we need to tap into that. We need to make use of it in this new education policy, which has so many positives, which has got all the right things, in my opinion, embedded into it. But this is one aspect of it which I find lacking, and which I would love to see it included into the sports policy. That is what I would like to say.
Okay, thank you, Wing Commander Ghosh, for giving your views. And Wing Commander Ghosh has mentioned that although he agrees with Dr. P. Subramania that yes, there is a holistic inclusion of the sports, but according to him, he disagrees because the importance of the sports in the new national education policy is only as a subject, which is not correct. He says that it should be a practical thing and one should give the full importance to the sports. And according to Wing Commander Ghosh, if you ask in a class and ask the students whether they would like to play the sports, 99% of the students will raise their hands. So when this is the situation, why we are not giving importance, the true importance of the sports? And according to him, the purpose of education is to make somebody who can take proper decisions, who can be mentally sound, physically sound. And this is only possible if the child from the very beginning is involved in sports, because the sports create the mental as well as the physical, give the strength to the child. And that's why, and when the child grows up, he can be a very, very successful businessman or CEO, because he can take decisions with a proper mindset as well as he is physically sound. And he also mentioned that if we will not incorporate this in a proper way, then we can see how it has happened after the competitive exam. So many suicides are taking place. And he has given an example of an English player who has just debuted against the West Indies last month, where he was out on duck, and then he was thrown out from the team. But again, he was called back, and now yesterday in the Pakistan test, and he made highest runs and which any of the cricketer has made, British cricketer has made in the first test for the 100 runs. That is about 260 runs, if I'm not mistaken, what I heard from Wing Commander Ghosh. So according to him, the mental strength. Although sometimes there are exceptionals. We lost one very bright Indian player also recently who committed suicide because he was not included in the IPL team. But that is exceptional. Yes, if we are mentally sound, if we are physically sound, we will not take any such type of cowardly steps which can lead to the suicide. Now, my question to you is, has the 1986 education policy achieved any positive in sports education? And whether you have actually seen the uses of sports as a life skill development tool?
Yes, absolutely. Any sports policy would have some positive benefits, that's for sure, because the moment you recognize that sports is something which needs to be given importance and made a part of the curriculum, whether it is as an extracurricular activity or whether it is a part of the curriculum itself, there are bound to be positives out of that. So even the 1986 policy would have would have achieved a lot of positives out of it. And as far as seeing the the effects of sports on young children, on the development of young children, after I took premature retirement from the Indian Air Force in 2010, I worked as the chief operating officer of a boarding school, which also had a sports academy within the school, and we had excellent sports facilities. Now, which brings me to the point which Grant made here, that we were one school which had a lot of facilities, we had 36 trained coaches, sports coaches in the school as part of the staff. And we had this Academy of Sporting Excellence within the school where children could actually, learn how to play a sport right from their formative years. So we were actually different from other schools in that sense. And not obviously many schools in India would have those kind of facilities. But having said that, the effect that sports had on young children, that remained the same. That won't change, because in the school that I was at that point of time, children came from affluent backgrounds who had not, no one in their families had ever played sport. They were basically not sports people at all. And they didn't have a sports culture in their running in their families. So to actually make children from such backgrounds to come to the grounds, to sweat, to do the physical fitness that is required to play sport at any level, that itself was a huge challenge. But once again, going back to what Satvik said, that you need your best teachers and best coaches at every level to interest the children in sport, to basically make them fall in love with sport. And I won't restrict myself only to sports in this particular example. I would say that if you can make a child fall in love with a subject, or with academics, with reading, with writing, whatever it is something which is a great service that you've done to that child, and it stays with him for life. And so the same kind of thing happened with us at that school, with many young children who actually fell in love with playing sport, even though not many people in their families were familiar with sport. They're not, leave alone having played it at any level. So they went through that grind. They happily came to the sports grounds, and we built sports teams. And because we were able to take teams out for competitions and all that, it led to a lot of healthy competition within the students to get into the school teams, to be a part of playing tournaments, even playing tournaments overseas, and all of that. And all of that actually contributed to their personalities. It all contributed to the kind of people that they actually became later in life. So if I give a specific example, there was a cricket tournament that we went to play in Greece. Now, we had gone there once earlier, and we felt that we had the potential to win this tournament the next year. We had lost in the semifinals the previous year. We had actually lost to a team from Pakistan. So that made us even more determined to go back the next year and win the championship. So the next year, we gave this as a target to our children. And the tournament happened during a school vacation. So we were at a boarding school where children are in any case away from the families for almost a good 10 months in a year. Now we were asking them to give up a part of their vacation to be part of that cricket team, which was to go and play that tournament. and all of them happily agreed to do that. And not only them, credit to their parents, they agreed to that as well. And then for a period of a month or so, we worked with these children. The coaches worked with these children, taught them different kinds of things that they needed to learn to succeed at that tournament. The target goal was obviously to go and win and do well in that tournament. But we broke it down into smaller goals every day. Like we would have a daily goal of, say, if you were doing a fielding session, you wanted them to hit the stumps directly with their throws. Or if you wanted them to hit in the air, learn to hit in the air, because this was a T20 tournament that we were playing. So obviously we needed to score quickly. We needed to learn them to hit the ball into the gaps. We needed to learn them to run quick singles. So all of those were daily goals which we would work on for a period of a month. So what these children realized was that you have a target goal, and then you have a process goal, which is a daily goal, which you work on a daily basis. And the consolidation of those process goals, those daily goals, if you do it well, could finally lead you to achieving the target goal that you've set for yourself. So that's a very powerful education if you see in terms of life. If you see that later on these people would go into business or become CEOs of companies or whatever it is, they would look at achieving their goals exactly in this process. They would break the main target goal down into smaller goals, work on those goals on a daily basis without really looking at the target goal. And then when they actually get into that situation where they need to perform and put it all together, they are in a position to do so. So that's a very powerful education that these students learned from us. And I'm happy to say that we went there, and we actually, Grant was there with a team from South Africa, and we actually won that tournament. So that, and we got our prize from the Indian High Commissioner to South Africa, and to Greece, and the South African ambassador was also there. So it was a great privilege for the children. Just imagine the kind of life education that it would have imparted to these children to have been a part of a process like that, and to have gone to a situation. These are 16, 17-year-old boys that I'm talking about, and to have gone into a situation like that and done well in life. And the amount of confidence, the amount of team spirit that they learned from that exercise, I think that would remain with them for the rest of their lives in whatever they do. And that, in my opinion, is the biggest plus or the positive that you can derive out of playing sports at any level.
Okay, thank you, Wing Commander Ghosh, for giving the details. And according to you, the 1986 education policy, yes, it has also achieved something. Any policies which are coming and which are giving importance to sports definitely achieve something. But how much it achieves, that we have to see ourselves, and that's why the new education policy has come. Now, he has also mentioned about the life skills, and he says that which he has narrated one incident, but he says the main thing is that instead of going for a target, you just divide the target into sub-targets, and then let them work for those small targets. And once they will achieve, definitely the big target, the ultimate target will also be achieved, which will be in turn, once the children will learn all these things in sports, tomorrow they can be a very, very successful person in their life, whether a businessman or any professional. Thank you very much, Wing Commander Ghosh, for giving the reply.